Let's get this shit over with. Rating video, FF13. Let's go. No delay. No piss sticking around. We're just doing this, and we're doing this now. Let's go. FF13, this is the rating video for FF13. It took 12 sessions to get through. We did not use cheats. Negative 57 to story, negative 85 to gameplay. Let's explain why I hate this fucking game so much so we can just end this shit and be done with it. And yes, the rating video is going to have the rant view thumbnail if you're wondering. So, let's start with the good, hit on the story, and go from there. Most of the time, there is some good sprite work on display. I do like being able to read the events of the story in the data log, and when you load up the game as well. There's a blurb that tells you the story so far. In 13.2, that's actually going to be a full-on cutscene. Final Fantasy, it's basically the previously on X-Men segment. It's actually kind of funny in regards to that. Probably gonna have to show that off as much as I can. And so yeah. Despite myself, there's some good gameplay story integration. I do like the romance between Snow and Sarah. I actually kind of think it works well as tragedy. That gets corrected later, so that's cool. There's some decent foreshadowing. When you get to Hope's home in Pelham, there's actually some good foreshadowing. Yes, there's good foreshadowing, but no, in Hope's home, there's good doodad usage. So, despite myself, there's some good internal continuity. I gave a positive to the voice acting and the voice direction. What the characters are saying are garbage, but how they're saying it and how they're emoting is actually well done. So there you go. I did give some characters positives, believe it or not. Because I do think despite the story, there are some good characters here. Lightning is not the emo FF Pro tag that everybody claims she is. No, that's Fang. We'll get to her later. Later in the negatives. I liked Zaz as the straight man, and most of the time. I think Snow is a good character, although some of that may rest on Troy Baker. I still feel like he's a well-fleshed out character. I like Vanille. I don't care what anybody says. I like her as a character. Did she get annoying? A little bit. Do I think she's worthy of getting screwed over in multiple ways? No. Sarah, I felt, was a good character. A lot of when she's actually on screen is actually nice and well done. And Hope's dad, easily my favorite character in the entire game. He is awesome, and he's able to encourage Hope in all the best ways possible. My favorite lines from him are, which both are going to get positives, by the way. We'll do have positives later, by the way. Are his lines, "You're not running away, and you've made a choice, and you're my son, this is your home." Those are two great lines. I love them. They are the best lines in the game. No question. So, yeah, triple positive for him. The first flashback with Snow proposing to Sarah is awesome. And nice and wholesome. Snow staying behind to save Sarah. This is when they first fall into Lake Brescia. I like that scene. I like the flashback with Lieutenant Amador. Which is hilarious because a lot of the flashbacks actually were the positives of this story. Funny enough. The flashback where Sarah reveals her brand and is a good scene because it shows that Snow really loves Sarah. It's not lust, it is actual, really love. Good stuff. The birthday flashback, that's a great scene that shows the conflict between Lightning and Snow, and shows that Lightning is fallible. I like that. I like Zaz's flashback to when Dodge became a lessee, even though I think that's a dumb plot point, but whatever. And it goes to show that he's starting to trust Vanille, which is why the betrayal happens and it's supposed to be super devastating. I find it more stupid than engaging myself. This is where I gave the positives for the "You are my son, this is your home," and "You're not running away, you've made a choice" lines. So, I also gave the entire section of Hope returning home a triple positive because that is awesome. If we got more sections like Hope's return home and less bullshit like Operation Nora, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, this game would be absolutely a masterpiece. I like the optional scene on Pulse where Vanille reveals that she was Ragnarok. Nice showcase of her character. The optional scene with Hope and Vanille is nice. Vanille's flashback with Sarah is a good dive into her character and her guilt, because she feels responsible for what happened with Sarah. I would argue she's not, because the fal'Cie are all fucking assholes, but that's beside the point. Lightning and Snow's talk on the way to Erebba is a good one. It shows that Lightning has confidence and trust in Snow. I do like Roche's defeat. I feel that is a good scene that I wish was in a better game, and also given to a better character, as it is a great showcase that Roche was human despite being a fal'Cie puppet. And despite everything, if I take this ending in a vacuum, this is a good triple positive ending. It doesn't say the outro, but it is a really nice, heartwarming ending. And if the 13th story had ended here, I know some people would be like, "Oh, but Cocoon's gonna fall anyway." I still would have been like, I headcanon that they deal with it at some point later. 37 positives to story, that's it. Good lord. Now for the negatives. There's a lot to go through. Let's get on with it. The presentation of this story is absolute crap, and I hate it. Let's get into it. Triple negative for visual storytelling, triple negative for the animations, triple negative for the plot, triple negative for the writing, triple negative for the story sequencing because the flow of events are just what the fuck a lot of the time. I don't like the use of atmosphere and tone. I feel this story is actively worse by knowing everything. Not as much as bad as it was in 10, and I'll grant you, but yeah, no, this is, I still say this story is worse when you know everything. It's also not helped by the fact that this is a badly paced and padded to hell story as well, with some bad storyboarding. I didn't give the camera work negative. I'll stand behind that. Camera work's a wash. There's also some really annoying instances of cutscene incompetence, mostly towards the end, more so than anywhere else, really. But it is sprinkled throughout, so there is that. I hate the brickwork in this game. I feel there's too many times where I'm just staring at the environment and going, what the fuck am I looking at? I feel the music direction is bad. I feel the music choices are worse than even mine, which is just a random Trails playlist on random. I feel the dialogue is triple negative worthy. The empty text got a triple negative. I hate the dialogue because 95% of what the game expects you to know is in the data log in order to fully understand the story, which just sucks. I also hate the plot armor that the main characters have, especially with Snow. Now, granted, plot armor is something that the main characters of a lot of the FFs have, admittedly, but it is so blatant and obvious here. I can kind of excuse it in a lot of other instances, right? Right? I can excuse it in FF6. I can excuse it in FF7. I can excuse it in FF4. I can excuse it in FF5. I can excuse it in Final Fantasy VIII. I can excuse it in 9. I mean, hell, even in 10 I can kind of excuse it. But here, no. There's too many things where there should have been a lot worse injuries on the characters at minimum. So, no. Open your mouth and close your ass runs rampant in this game, and I hate it, especially with Hope and his desire for revenge. Ugh. It is in every aspect of the storytelling, though, so that's why I got a triple negative. This whole narrative is a goddamn idiot plot, and I hate it. I absolutely fucking hate it. It only works if every character in this game is a goddamn moron. Including Bartandelis' refusal to just fucking die, since that was the catalyst for waking up Orphan, which would have led to what he wanted. Moron. Then there's the whole plot point into the fal'Cie giving l'Cie their focus through visions, which is a plot hole, no two ways about it. Thanks, Bartandelis, for talking in your fal'Cie form, you fucking prick. I also do not like the Eidolon or monster designs in this game, so that got a negative. Snow's group of ragtag dumbasses, Nora, got a negative because I feel they were a giant nothing burger and celebrated as way too important to this story, and that's bullshit. Speaking of Nora's, Nora Estheim, Hope's mother. I feel she is an awful character and a colossal waste of Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's vocal talents. There are a lot of really good voice actors in this game, and I feel they are just thoroughly wasted in this story. It's garbage. Speaking of Hope, since we talked about Hope's mother, let's talk about Hope himself. He's the worst character in this entire game. He's whiny, he's arrogant, and his beef with Snow is just really stupid as fuck. You saw what happened to your mother, and your mother pulled fucking stupid. She chose to fight, you moron. And she's the dumbass that got caught up in the hype. Fucking idiot. So, triple negative there. I grew to despise Fang. I know there are people in real life that are as stuck in their ways as she is and turn on a dime like her, but the problem is that they are awful people in real life, IMO, and I don't fucking need that kind of shit in my fiction. Also, she became the villain at the end, so fuck her. Roche and Nabat both got 2 negatives for being stupid and just thorough wastes of characters. Especially Nabat, who was being built up to be, a secondary antagonist, much like Roche, but both of them got misused and just were nothing in the grand scheme of things. Oh, and Nabat also got fridged, so that didn't help. So unless she somehow returns, well, I'm just gonna nuke that out of the consideration, because I don't see how they could have her in Lightning Return. So, bleh. So yeah, nothing burger bitch can fuck off like the porn bait she is. I also hate this fucking intro, and in my opinion, it is the worst in all of gaming. It gives you nothing to establish the world, it is badly written, the characters act like morons, and it takes way too damn long, in my opinion. Because depending on where you chop the intro, if you chop the intro when they fall to Lake Brescia, like I do, you get nothing. And it's even fucking worse if you chop it sooner, because you get even less the earlier you chop it. It's so bad. Ugh. Then there's Lightning's random angst which summons Odin, which is just fuck off. I hate the random angst summoning the Eidolons thing. That can just be applied to, like, every situation that it happens, with the exception of Hope, because only his makes any sense. How ironic. Then there's the scene where Hope names his desire for revenge, which makes Lightning inconsistent as a character and paints her as being okay with being an accomplice to murder. You know Snow's just caught up in the stupid Lightning. Why are you allowing Hope's desire to stab him to death? Like, she even gives Hope her fucking knife, for fuck's sakes. What the fuck did you think he was gonna do with that, you moron? Ugh. Then there's the flashback where Sarah is captured, which just makes zero sense to me, and kind of paints Snow as an idiot. I mean, I know he is, but come on. I also really don't like the entire Pelham Underground section. I feel it is so ass backwards. I don't know who to fight anymore. Yes, you do. The Sanctum. They're the ones that are fucking everything up. You fucking moron. This is like if in World War II somebody said, I don't know who I should be fighting anymore. Or it's everybody would collectively look at that soldier and be like, the Axis. The Nazis. Fight the fucking Nazis, you moron. Like, come on. Ugh. God. Hell, even... This is where I just want Edelgard to chime in and say, you fight the church, you moron! Just backhand Lightning across the face. Ugh. Then there's Hope's confrontation with Snow and Pelham. It's long overdue, it's a badly handled scene, and nothing comes of it. It's like the rest of this story. This scene thinks it has a point, thinks it's being profound, but it's just painting the heroes as assholes. It's pulling a Ruby Volume 8. I fucking hate that scene so goddamn much, and I cannot fathom how in the unholy mother of fuck, like in Season 1 of Wolf's Den, I only gave that scene one fucking negative. Like, oh my god. Ugh, triple negative. God damn it. Then there's Zaz turning on Vanille. Okay, this one's gonna require an explanation. See, it seems logical, right up until you give it even a shred of thought. And, well, yes, with, fuck, I already forgot her name. Kisara. Well, yes, with Kisara, over in Tales of Arise, I had to acknowledge that it actually made sense that in the moment she would be upset and full, and full of rage and all of that. But the problem is that Zaz is allowing the enemy to tell him all of this, which is just, no. Fuck this shit. Just fuck this shit. So, first of all, and by the way, Nabat shows this, so there's no, we just have to take Nabat's word for it. Which I, at the very least, could kind of buy, at the very least, but no, she flat out shows the footage, so no. First of all, Thing and Vanille never knew or wanted Dodge to be there. Thing and Vanille never even knew Dodge existed until Dodge asked them who are you? Oh, and this is the worst part. Daisley's right-hand woman is the one explaining all of this. So, yeah, no. Why does he turn on Vanille so fucking hard? I know he backpedals on this, but it also leads to a fake-out suicide attempt, which is just, no. You don't put suicide like that on screen in such a stupid-ass way. Period. So then Bartendlis reveals himself as a fal'Cie, and that causes the biggest plot hole in the entire game. The fal'Cie can literally just tell the l'Cie their focus and be done with it. But instead, it's just an excuse for them to be vague. If fal'Cie couldn't talk, this would be fine. But Bartandalus is a chatty motherfucker, so no. Plot hole. Oh, triple negative plot hole. Then there's Cid's revelation, which is just, call the gods back. I hate plot points like that. It can never be done well, only okay at best, in my opinion. Period. Then there's Fang's declaration that she will go it alone. This is right before Bahamut shows up. As not only does this show that not only did Cid's crystallization teach her the wrong lesson, and teach her fuck all like everyone else, she is also a selfish bitch to boot. Now, I know this seems harsh, but if you're doubting me on that, realize that she never once, in any circumstance, ever asks Vanille what she wants. Or even considers asking. It's, I must do this, me. Let's yeet this selfish bitch off a cliff, because that's the only thing she's good for at this point. That may seem harsh, but fuck that. Also, to continue this point, the whole scene before and after Vanille's Eidolon battle is just fucking stupid to me. I get that it's the classic feigning rage trope, but it just rings hollow because we don't really get a sense of why Fang is upset about Vanille's lie. And the whole lying to draw out the Eidolon thing is just equally stupid to me. Combine that with the bad timing and the fake drama, and it's just, no. 2 negatives there. Then there's Bartandalus disguising himself as Sarah, which is just, fuck that whole scene. I hate that fucking scene. There was no reason for Bartandalus to disguise himself. He was trying to entice them, but the fact that it took them forever to catch on to that was just fucking stupid. She started talking like Bartandalus, for fuck's sakes. That should have been the instant, oh, fuck off, Geisley moment. But whatever. Then there's the whole Seath Stone scene in Erebor, which, oh god, it just makes what happens next, next in Chapter 12, even worse. And I also fucking hate Chapter 11 as a whole, because it is just a giant fucking... It reveals nothing, it's a giant ball of fluff, and it's a giant circle jerk. Triple negative. Then there's the racetrack scene, which was just, oh my god, I hate that entire scene. Ugh. Also, I hate Reigns' death, pathetic, and it was right after we found out he was not only out of his crystal, but he had also been given Daisley's position, which lasted all of, 5 minutes? Ugh. Then there's Lightning's landing gizmo coming back into the fray. It's like, game, why did you not establish that thing was working again? No, seriously, why did you not establish that thing was working again? What the hell? Oh yeah, and on top of that, she now has apparently 6 of those goddamn things now. Whatever. Then Nora shows up for a dumb, pointless waste of budget. I also really hate the Where's the End scene in Orphan's Cradle. That was just so fucking stupid. Like, come on! That was another waste of budget. Then there's the whole sequence of Fang submitting to Orphan. Just continuing the point that Fang is a selfish, egotistical bitch, and the true villain of this game. Also, fuck this outro, it is a triple negative. 94 fucking story negatives, god damn it. Alright, let's talk what few positives to the gameplay there are. There's about 51 of them, so let's get into it. The tutorials are skippable. There's a good auto battle is actually okay. Party AI is fucking garbage, but we'll get there. I gave a triple positive to the mid-mission checkpointing because the checkpoints are actually really well done. Items that are used in battle when you hit retry on are not consumed. Good quality of life, good feature there. I didn't give a quality of life, I call it wash on that, but that is a good quality of life feature. Also, am I the only one who likes it that the enemies respawn when you hit retry? Because it actually kind of saves you a headache when you're trying to grind right beside a boss. I gave a positive to the bestiary. I gave a positive to gameplay story integration on both axes. I gave the stagger mechanic a triple positive because despite the issues we'll get into in the negatives, the stagger mechanic itself is actually really cool and really well thought out. The problem is that the encounter design and the rest of the core combat are all garbage in my opinion, because of the way the core combat is designed. It's all about how those encounters suck. And that's the problem. I also really like that enemy HP is practically always available. You just smack them a couple of times and then you can just pull up the status screen with the push of a button and instantly see, alright, there's the enemy's HP. There's also a health bar too, which also helps, so they basically covered all of their bases on that front. So yeah, there's also a good amount of info in the game. I like the paradigm shift mechanic. It's a good mechanic. Again, there's some good ideas here. The problem is that the music is too loud in my ear. The problem is everything else. So triple positive for the paradigm shift. I gave all of the roles positives. I gave Commando a positive. I gave Ravager a positive. I gave Sentinel a positive. I gave Medic a positive. I gave Synergist a positive, and I gave Saboteur a positive. So, bam, 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 bam. Yeah, great stuff. All 5 roles. So, this is a triple positive that I am going to have to explain, because it may not be apparent unless you either grind up the points, which could be used to justify the leveling barriers, but to me that's no excuse. Or if you're a pain in close intention, but inactive party members still gain any CP you accumulate, made while in control of another group. Now, this doesn't just mean like when you have all 6 party members together and you have the inactive group, though that is true, they still gain. No, what I'm talking about is when the group is separated. So, for example, like with the example I listed here, let's say you're in control of Zaz and Vanille in Chapter 4. They're off by themselves, right? Well, any CP they earn is also being earned by the rest, as evidenced by the fact that Hope had a bunch of CP when they met up with him, and I used all of his CP, so he was at 0 CP the last time I was in control of him. So, yes, that's awesome. That is great stuff. Triple positive for that. I find potions to be very useful. They do kind of fall off later, especially if you don't use Doctor Code, but I'm okay with that. I feel the itemization is good. Not great, but good. Triple positive for the potions, by the way. At first, I was also neutral on the whole party is fully restored after combat thing, but I have since come around and like that as a mechanic. I don't remember if 13.2 does that. We will see. Hey. There are also no permanent status effects in this game, and they do not last that long in battle as well. All of them wear off after a time, so that's good. There's some good combat animations. I like the summoning animations. I also think this is FF10's summoning mechanic done good. So I give it a double positive. I really like this thing. Even though I don't like the Transformers thing aspect of it, I do actually like Gestalt mode, mechanically speaking. So. if this was more of a Final Fantasy crossing with Transformers, and instead you were summoning like Optimus Prime instead of Odin, that could be an interesting idea. I don't think they'll ever go for it. Although Transformers has crossed over with a few things that I never thought it would ever. A couple of things that I never thought it would. Star Trek and Power Rangers specifically. Anyways, piloting the Pulse Mech with Hope, that was actually a cool sequence. Enki and Lil, that was a that was a fun little boss fight. I liked Usham Gul Subjugator round 1. I love fighting the Havoc Sky Tank. This is a gimmick fight done right. Yeah, you could slog through his 400 HP, 400,000 HP. Or you can attack its parts and drain its HP that way, because every time you take out one of its parts, its main body takes 80k worth of damage. As much as I hate it from a story perspective, Sid's boss fight was kind of awesome, so triple positive there. I felt like Bahamut's Eidolon Battle was the only one that was kind of cool. I gave Army of One, Lightning signature move, a positive. Jabberwocky and Bandersnatch are a fair fight, except for the healing. That was a positive and negative scenario. And Orphan Round 2. I actually kind of liked Orphan Round 2 and gave it a triple positive. So there you go. Now let's get into the negatives. We got a lot to go through because there's like 136 of these fucking things. 51, goddamn. Them story positives, or gameplay positives. Now let's get into the negatives. I hate this core combat, and I hate the flow of this combat system. Triple negative on both fronts. I also hate the inconsistent inching, and the fact that there is no pausing the action when switching paradigms, and the fact that the animation has to play is just frickin' irritating. And it can cost you big time, and did several times in my playthrough. This is also the reason why you're not hearing FF13 soundtrack is because I fucking hate this soundtrack and gave it a triple negative. And I also gave a negative and I freaking also hate the placement of specific songs. I also hate the edge of the screen in flashing to indicate low health. It gives me a headache, and I hate it. I also find the tutorials boring and not informative. I also really fucking hate the leader dies, meaning game over mechanic in this one. I know Persona and, what was the other example I said? Final Fantasy Tactics, right? Yes, Final Fantasy Tactics. You know, because the Phoenix Downs exist, and it's not, you're not playing as just Lightning the entire game, right? I've always hated this bullshit here in 13. FF12 got this right, so it really does not make any sense. And before anybody points out Persona and Final Fantasy Tactics, well, yes, in Persona 4 Golden and on, arguably Persona 3 Portable, but semantics. It makes zero sense in P3 and P4 OG. And in the other two, I worded that pretty badly. You only control, but in... Actually, no, that should be a comma. Makes no sense. In P3 and P4 OG, you only controlled your character, so there is an argument to be had there. In FFT's case, he took 3 of Ramza's turns after his HP hit 0 for it to be game over. So no, 13 gets 0 slack for this, especially since later on you can change party members, and party leaders also change throughout the entire game. I hate it. Hate it. Triple negative. The no treasure for you bullshit is at its worst here. Triple negative. I also find the shop prices to be way too fucking high. The dungeon design is god-awful and worth a triple negative. Negative. The power progression curve is crap. Yep. The pretending to be FF5 is also kind of not good, in my opinion. So that got a separate negative out of me. And then there's the fact that several abilities on paper sound like absolute garbage, such as Stifled Magic, which reduces your magic and you just have a recipe for a terrible curve and a terrible ability pool. So yeah, I hate the ability pool in this game too. The difficulty curve is also a triple negative because I feel there are just too many cliffs in it. I fucking hate the leveling barriers where the Crystallarium expands out to specific boss fights, including after the final boss for the post-game content. Fucking what? Ugh. I also find there to be grind in this game. Hey, man, some people will contest that, and that's fine. I also hate the gameplay pacing and the gameplay padding. They are both bad. And the game will constantly flat out erase your paradigms. Every time you switch teams, you have to reset your paradigms. Oh, by the way, certain fights, like say, I don't know, a Vanille's Eidolon battle, reset your paradigm. Fucking oops. I know you can just hit retry, but why should you have to? Anyway. Hey, I also hate the fact that this game basically makes stagger mandatory in a large amount of the combat, including the final boss, I feel like adding. In fact, it's at its worst in the final boss, this fight with Orphan's second round, because when it's staggered, that's the only time it can be damaged. Yeah. Trash mobs have way too much HP. Triple negative there. Bosses have way too much HP. Triple negative there. Here, combine that with certain bosses casting Doom on the party leader after 20 minutes, which is bullshit, and you have another triple negative there. And then I also gave a negative for the worst case of overinflated numbers I have ever seen in a video game. Yes, this is a case of overinflated numbers, as I talked about ad nauseum during the run. You chop the numbers down, and several problems with this game go flying completely out the window. And I mean that sincerely. And no, Xenoblade 2 really doesn't really have too bad of an overinflated numbers until you start doing the side content. Some enemies have way too much health, but that is more of a problem with the health of the enemies rather than the overinflated numbers itself. Here, not only do the enemies have too much health, but the numbers across the board are overinflated, even in terms of trying to gain nodes on the Crystallarium. It gets ridiculous. By the end, each node was costing me 13 to 20,000 those in Crystallarium points, and the most you gain in one go from trash mobs is 6 to 10,000 at most? Are you kidding me? Ugh. So yeah, triple negative there. I feel this is some of the worst encounter design in the entire series, and I also fucking hate the enemy placement. I also gave a negative for enemy variety. This is not the worst enemy variety I've ever seen, but yeah, no. You really have to be paying attention to spot the differences most of the time. I gave a triple negative to the LAAI because they are fucking rock stupid. I survived better when I was in control of Vanille, and I proved that. It wasn't me being more aggressive that made me win in that final boss gauntlet. It was me being in control of Vanille. Fucking hell. Status effect fetish. Yeah, it's pretty bad, especially when you get to Orphan. Good lord. Ugh. I hate the camera both on the field and in combat. I also gave a triple negative to the audio spam. Because while this isn't the worst audio spam I've ever heard, it's consistent enough and headache-inducing enough to warrant a triple negative. This is some of the worst flow of exploration I have ever seen, and I freaking hate it. Also, for a 360 PS3 game, this is a terrible options pool. I'll just put it there. Or I don't need to say Xbox. Most people know what I'm talking about when I say 360. 60. When I say the 360, I mean the Xbox 360. So, this is also I gave the intro a triple negative on gameplay. I gave the Shiva Sisters a negative. I gave the Shiva Sisters Eidolon Battle a negative. I gave the Odin Eidolon Battle a negative. Oh, and if you want to talk difficulty clips, let's talk Bulbasaur. I mean, Astar Protoflorin. Yeah, I'm with Raxor on this one. Bulbasaur is a better name. Anyway, he is a cheap bastard that does a lot of rapid damage and can change his elemental weaknesses on the fly. And in the middle of your combo. Yeah, I fucking hate this asshole. Triple negative. I also hate fighting the Flanators in Palamporum, as they are audio spam him with their constant healing. The whole underground section is also annoying and just not fun. I also hate the Falco Velocycles in Palamporum, as I feel they are just assholes. You can really apply this to all the Velocycle enemies. Ushum Subjugator Round 2 is a test of patience and irritation. And I kind of hate Palamporum gameplay-wise overall, so I gave it a triple negative. I hate fighting Brunhilde. That's Zaz's boss fight. I gave it a positive last time, and I don't understand why I did that. Then there's Palamecia, which is a long, sloggy dungeon that takes too damn long and is just boring. Then it also has a middle section with an alarm being a constant annoyance, and it says the alarm is present even in combat. I muted for that most of that, and that's never mind the fact that it's a maze-like design as well. Ugh. Then there's Bartandalus, the first round against Bartandalus, which is a long, drawn-out slog of a fight full of cheap bullshit. Bullshit, as is going to be my goddamn catchphrase for this game. You chop his HP in half, and he's a lot less irritating. And that did become my catchphrase, even in this rating. Then there's fighting the behemoths, which all stems from one simple problem. Later on, they fully heal themselves when they change stances. God, do I hate that. So, yeah, triple negative. I also hate the 5th arc as a dungeon. I find it to be boring and sloggy. I also hate Alexander's boss fight. Good lord. I also hate the Seath Stones as fast travel points. Blech. Triple negative for terrible fast travel. I also hate the fact that the quests give you zero variety, as they are all Seath Stones. The Seath Stone, all of the side quests are the Seath Stones, and the Seath Stones are all go hunt this monster. Vanille's the boss fight for the Eidolon Battle, Vanille's thingy-magummer, or Hectaton Sharer, however the hell you're supposed to say that. I hate that fight. He is hard to deal with, even when you have 3 rolls as maxed as they can be with both Vanille and Fang. Fucking hate that fight. 2 negatives. Vitala is another annoying random enemy, and I freaking hate it. Hate it. That's the barrier fucker, if you're wondering. Then there's Taijin's Tower, which is backtracking the dungeon. This is why I didn't give the backtracking the negative overall, because there's only 2 dungeons in the entire game that are backtracking the dungeon, and that is freaking Taijin's Tower and Orphan's Cradle. and that's it. So, not enough to justify a, in general, negative as well. Then there's Bartendulus round 2, which is the same bullcrap as before, just with a fetish for days now. God, I fucking hate that. I don't like the first round against Proudclad. I felt it was kind of bullshit, and I had to cheese it. Adamant Shield is a cheap asshole, and I hate him. Also, I hate the fact that one of the treasure you have to pick a treasure sphere before that Adamant Shield steals it from you, which is just stupid. Then Proudclad round 2 was even more fucking annoying than the first, with his resetting of his stagger gauge. I had to frickin' grind to beat him. I hated it. I like Jabberwocky and Bandersnatch, it's true, but I also find the fact that they heal each other just kind of really fucking stupid. I hope you're not addicted to the aggression paradigm, because otherwise you're probably screwed. Waldulus is an example of the game fucking you over if you don't play the way the game wants, as he is a DPS race from hell. Hope you have a Sentinel on hand, because if not, you are fucked. 2 negatives. I also didn't like fighting in Diet Proudclad, aka T-Mad Eliminator. I also gave Orphan's Cradle in general a triple negative, as if it is not the worst, is one of, if not the worst, final dungeons in the series for me. It's long, it's boring, it has backtracking, the bosses both suck and become trash mobs, and visually it just gives me a headache. So yeah, triple negative. I also gave yet another triple negative, this time for Bartendulus round 3, because this time he adds Ultima to the mix. Ugh. Then there's Orphan round 1, which is a pain in the ass. Status effects out the ass, able to instantly kill your leader with a move that has a 1 in 3 shot of doing so, and he has 7 million HP. Just under 7 million HP, but my point still stands. Then there's the outro on the gameplay axis, which is just garbage, and I fucking hate it. Triple negative. It is either the worst or the second worst. We will see how the outro fares with 13.2. I know 13.2 is going to be the worst outro story-wise, but gameplay-wise, we'll see. And I also feel like this game is anti-replay because of a lot of the aspects of play this way or get fucked. And I also feel really fucking weak through way too much of the game. 136 negatives. That's it. I'm done. I am never touching this piece of garbage ever a fucking again. I hate this game with every fiber of my being, and I am letting this run and this rating video stand as a testament to my hatred of this fucking game. Fuck this game. I hate it. Next up is 13.2. I tried. I tried twice to give this game the benefit of the doubt, and I failed both times. This is a worse score than last time, because last time this game only got like 86. Negative 86 overall. Oh, now it stands as at well, I could just consult the thingy. Hang on. But now, give me a second here. Here as I bring up my spreadsheet. Now it's negative 142. 86 to 142. That's insane. But regardless, I'm finally done. I never have to fucking put up with this garbage ever again. Ugh, fuck this game. Blue Wolf Alex the Lore Walker signing out. Have a good one. I don't recommend 13-1. Later.